è molto difficile. Sento come Chiamata pure Shreya. Hello, Karan. Hi everyone, I am Tara, aka Spirit Mother, and my channel on YouTube, Spirit Teachings of Growing Within Self, on TikTok, 1974 Night Soul, and I'm also live on my Facebook and YouTube channel. I would recommend, suggest, and I really encourage you to read the description on my YouTube channel, Spirit Teachings of Growing Within Self, to get a better understanding of what it is that I do bring forward. Some of you know, like I use my life experiences, I talk about a lot of different topics. Well, I bring them up and I channel what spirit brings forward to me. So if I don't reply to your messages or what have you, sometimes people say, involve your audience. Well, I do involve my audience. I just don't follow it on here. If when I allow me to like let myself just tap in, I will hear you. Okay, I will hear your questions. And it's a part, not like you have to write it out because I do hear the thoughts. And it's like, okay, people don't believe that, but that's fine. And we go down a lot of different rabbit holes. And today I labeled it Alice Down the Rabbit Hole because Alice in Wonderland, Alice always went down that rabbit hole to find out truth, to find out what is hidden. And I've been flicking through TikTok and other things have been coming forward, and I don't believe everything that I see, but I do go look into it. And the reason why I go look into it because I know about the different timelines, the different like the multiverse and what have you, and I know that I'm constantly walking through it. And some people that may have already lost you, and that's fine. But I'm going to ask you, have you ever seen somebody that looked like someone that you knew, but it wasn't that person? Well, that's what you're experiencing, okay? Because a lot of people do it, and you're left feeling like, what? Like I could have swore that was that person, okay? Now, I was going down the rabbit hole looking at things with regards to J.D. Vance and Donald Trump and with regards to the black hole or the black holes. And it was the black hole. We'll start with the black holes because last night was a discussion with someone, and I told them that the black hole turns itself inside out. When I got talking about what I wanted to say, well, they never want to hear what someone else has to say because it's all about what they had to say, what they were taught or learned, and nobody knows anything different. You think of science. Science is forever changing. And I was reading a thing with regards to what they say about the black hole and in the universe. But they found out that the universe never ends. Last night, the person was talking with me and we started talking about time because I spoke about Father Time. Okay, because Father Time was a dragon. And, I have a beef with Father Time. I really have a beef with Father Time. And it's that part of channeling, and people look at me like I have 100 heads, but you have no idea how old my spirit and my soul is. And that's the thing. you perceive people like, okay, you're 46 or you're 25 and you're 38. Okay, at your according to your birth, you may be that old, but your spirit may be and your spirit and soul may be ancient, and that's why people come in knowing the things that they know and not knowing how they know it because they didn't learn it. Now, with what will okay, so the black hole, I said, think of it this way: a black hole, you say it sucks everything in, and it never comes out. Well, how can it suck something in and it never come out? Wouldn't it plug up and implode in, like plug up and implode? Or, the motor would go because it wouldn't suck anything more, or you'd think that it was trash. But think of the vacuum cleaner. Okay, what happens with the vacuum cleaner? Okay, you take it and you vacuum your floor, you use the hose. Okay, what happens? Okay, you're sucking up everything in its path, right? So either it's going to get plugged, but originally what it does is it transforms and goes out the other end, right? So it's like it flips itself inside out. But people won't believe that because within that system of mainstream science, and it's like that they said about conspiracy theory. Well, I watched a video today, and I did a little duet thing with regards to it, and the guy was saying that this is going to be the first time that they send humans to the moon, and one person and humans to be in the orbit of Earth or what have you. And someone commented on it, and they emphasized on the word "and." Did you not get what he said when he brought forward that the first humans to go to the moon? So if he's saying the first humans to go to the moon, he was an astronaut from that NASA, then that says that nobody went to the moon. So then your conspiracy theorists were actually telling truth, right? So uh, the universe is endless because we're all the universe. He even said about it being a little speck. Well, there must be an awful lot of little specks being able to go into a black hole because what people don't realize, like Nikola Tesla, he said that a black hole is infinite energy. And in the scientific part, they said that in order for a black hole to be able to turn itself inside out, it would have to have infinite energy. But a black hole is infinite energy. Now, I said in my thing that this is going to go all weird. It's going to kind of be all over the place because spirit was taking me down different rabbit holes. And even I was sitting here and I was looking at my the bricks for my chimney, and I seen the initials JS. So I went down a rabbit hole with regards to that, and it was Joseph A. Kennedy, I believe, Senior, and then that led me to JFK. No. So that tells me more that I got to go down this rabbit hole because in spirit I've actually spoken with JFK probably in around 2021, the summer of 2021 through spirit, and people will laugh at that. But hey, just because you don't know what it is, just because you don't understand doesn't mean that other people don't. And I can feel somebody trying to shut me down because it's like, are you trying to like it's like it feels like not a strangulation, but it feels like somebody's trying to grab a hold of my tongue and pull it out. It's like when you watch Once Upon a Time, and in that one part of the series, Rumpelstiltskin takes the guy's tongue. Wow, Milo was down by the pond. And he takes his tongue out because if they pull it, if they take the tongue, that's what they did with a lot of people, so that they couldn't speak. Or you try to put binding spells. It's like because I can really feel it, and it's like I'm just gonna laugh at you because if doing that helps you get through every day, and by doing that, that is that part of when you're experiencing that, that means that you're getting some truth, and someone or something wants you to shut your face. So back about a year ago, I watched a video. It was like a sort of a documentary type thing with regards to Pornhub. Okay, earlier I posted that I seen pictures of JD and his mother, and in all honesty, I don't believe that JD's that woman that presents herself as JD's mother. I don't believe it's his mother. I looked up his mother's name and it was showing not a lot of stuff, like nothing really come up except in like a family search because JD Vance said that he had Scottish Irish descent. So I guess Hank, I do too. He's actually my third great granddaddy. And when I was looking, it was really strange because it said this, like it says that she was born in 61. Okay. Hold on one second. And I believe that she was born in 1957 because she gave birth to him in 1984. And if you look into like what they say, we'll get into that shortly because I looked up for JD Vance and it said that his mother would have been abusive and alcoholic and what have you, a lot of like that type of behavior. I believe what happened, and I don't believe that he would say his father is his father either. I believe that his father is one of the ones that's in charge with regards to Pornhub, and I'll show you that. I believe she was born in 57 and she died in 1985, a year after he was born. And you don't have to watch my channel, but hey, you try pulling my tongue, you're the one that's going to be mute. How do I find my stuff? Spirit. Spirit tells me how to word things of what I'm looking for. Because you can put in certain words and what you're searching for, it won't come up. But then you continue to rephrase it in different ways, and then you find what you're looking for. It's a part of going down that black hole. Because they say there was a card that I read, like one of my tarot cards, and it was saying that everything ends, or once it's gone, it's gone. Well, that's not true at all, because it always recirculates itself. You look at your fashion, it keeps coming back, right? And then other people claim it as their own, but it was already a fashion. What here? It's one thing. Oh, oh, yeah, that's weird. I didn't know I had this open. Oh, I know why. Because my sixth grade granddaddy had dealings with George Washington. And yeah, the rabbit hole was also how J.D. Vance is the 50th vice president, but we've only had 47 presidents. But we're going to get into that too. Well, granddaddy. How you like your pretty face, Mr. Mubay? I must say, my great granddaddy must have been good looking, but one pulls this ass sometimes. And we'll go to this first. Okay, I said it's going to be all over the place because Spirit's going to put me where I need to be when I need to be there at the moment that I need to be there. Because I was coming in before, and I did a quick video with regards to it because that's the part of what they lied to us about. Okay, I'm not sure if any of you have ever seen this YouTube video from CTV News. It was probably around about the 80s, late 80s, early 90s or thereabouts. So let's go down that rabbit hole for a moment. Okay. I posted this to my old TikTok and I posted it to my YouTube video or to my um, Facebook before. So here, let's plug her in. Well, shit ass. Don't be doing that on me. Okay, so we'll put this here so people know who he is. Dan Rathers or something like that. Okay, so mute the stereo so we can hear what this man has to say. Oh. I'm trying to turn the volume up on this one. And I'm looking on there for it. I guess my hair matches today. Okay, so let's hear this. This is about cancer. It's titled not title shit. DCA, generic cure for cancer discovered. Right up there in the corner. This was the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. So let's see. This is the news. This is CTV News. And well, not kind of, they actually took it from us.
Applications and is relatively cheap. As CTV's medical specialist Avis Trevor explains, redeveloping the drug may not fit into the business plans of the big pharmaceutical companies.
Dr. Evangelos Mikalakis has given cancer researchers a brand new lead with an old drug, a cheap and expensive powder that costs just pennies a dose.
We typically get this eureka kind of feeling, and it's actually the most exciting thing scientists can get.
The drug, called DCA in short, has been used for decades in humans with some rare inherited diseases. When you added it to the water of mice and rats given human cancers, the results.
And this tumor growing in his back, so you can see that even after 2 weeks, there is a significant 30% decrease in tumor size.
It shrunk brain, breast, and lung tumors in the animals in a matter of weeks. And the
See that? Brain, lung, breast tumors in a matter of weeks.
drug had no side effects, confirmed by tests of DCA in humans for other diseases.
This kind of result, in my mind, are as good as it gets.
And it seems to work by reviving the energy-producing components of human cells, allowing the cells to work normally again, triggering cancer cells to commit suicide. Scientists agree that DCA now needs to be tested quickly in human cancer patients.
This is exactly what we want, the drug that is a pre-approved, but has also minimal side effects.
But there's a problem. DCA isn't owned by any pharmaceutical company. There's no patent on it. So on the one hand, it could become a very inexpensive new treatment for cancer. On the other, drug companies won't be interested in funding studies for a drug that won't make them a profit.
It's a good question because typically, there are market considerations.
So now Dr. Mikalakis has to find someone who will pay for the next round of testing.
We hope that we can attract the interest of universities here in Canada and in the United States.
And he doesn't want to let the medical dream of a cheap, effective anti-cancer drug disappear just because it might not make someone a lot of money. It costs, some say, about $100 million to get a new drug through all the phases of testing onto the market. So it will be interesting to see if this old drug actually gets a new chance at becoming an anti-cancer medication. Lloyd?
Well, Avis, your report tells us that this drug has great promise. So why aren't companies and institutions lining up to get behind it?
Well, first of all, Lloyd, this is the initial report. Secondly, because the drug isn't patented, it's an old drug. If someone invests in researching it, they're not going to make a profit because anyone can make it. So we'll have to see. There are some agencies, public agencies, government agencies that may give it funding, but that's still a question that will have to be answered.
But unless big pharmaceutical companies are behind these things, they may go nowhere. Is that it?
Well, actually, Lloyd, I've had two other stories where drugs have shown great promise in the preclinical phase, and because they were orphan drugs and no one picked up, nobody could get the patent on it, they've gone nowhere. So I will be keeping an eye on this one.
Thank you very much, Avis.
Thanks.
So please tell me, where the fuck did it go? Where did it go? That was in Alberta. Why did Canada not do it? You'll send, like, seriously, the government will send money to pharmaceutical companies to do study research for drugs that cause multitudes of side effects, but won't cure cancer. And people will just sit here and you'll be stunned and stupid. And some of you will even say, well, that's not true. This is stuff that the news was actually bringing forward until they were bought. Silence. But people will look like you're always saying about something. You're always saying about something. You think you like to be heard. Well, you know somebody's gonna be heard, but you like to live in denial and then go line up to get your fucking chemotherapy and radiation and say that it's helping you when it's actually killing a lot of your cells. But see, your government, they won't help to put the bill for that because there's no money in it for them. Because if this happened, then your taxes, you would have, your taxes would be going to where they needed to be going instead of people screaming about the healthcare system. You know, I had somebody that I knew, they had cancer. And I was informed that when this video was brought to them, if the person brought it to them, the person that had the cancer was, well, I don't care, I'll eat what I want to eat. You're going to be bothered. And I don't give two fucks if I know you. You're part of the crisis that we're facing. And, you know, all these people not. Because I've said it straight up. You know, if you're not going to change your own habits, and if you're not going to speak up and address that and say, like, hey, where is it? Where is it? It said pennies. It costs pennies, and it's already a drug on the market. DC, what was it? DCA? DCD? Let's see. New cancer, excuse more. New studies confirm that cancer cells remain. It's saying avoid certain foods to avoid cancer. But people say, oh, well, I don't care, I'll eat what I want. Well, you know, if you're obese and you're unwell all the time, stop running to the fucking doctor because it's your own problem. Nothing rude, just saying, you know, hey, people say, oh, well, you're very inconsiderate. Nope, not very inconsiderate at all. DCA. Hey, you know, I had shit cloud of money. I fucking right, I'd fund it. And any business or company that don't fund it and doesn't look at it as it being a profit, then you are the true then you are somebody who comes forward and helps with stuff like that, that doesn't look for the profit from it, you are a true savior. Your pharmaceutical companies are not your savior. Your government is not your savior. People who are actually making a difference and trying to bring things into the light are your saviors. And they're not going to be the ones sitting up in the podium and reading from the back. They're going to be the ones that take action, that do what's right for people. And I know people got irritated when I said they're not the ones saying nothing to podium, preaching from the Bible. It's like right now, if I'm in the Matrix, I'll fuck off and stop playing around. An acceptable drug to fight cancer. This was posted on January 1st, 2017. Cancer treatment for research application. First, I will start this book. Okay, wishing all the readers happy faith. And on the website, okay. DCA is probably one of the first anti-cancer drugs I came across. I'm starting to search for new effective drugs that can help fight cancer. All of these years, I believed even more in potential behind CDC health. Okay. Okay. Let's try this. CCNM, Patterson Institute for Integrative Oncology Research. DCA in cancer care, patient resources. What is CD? It is a medication sometimes used off label for cancer. Where? And why is this not on the news? What is CDC, DCA used for? DCA has been prescribed to reduce tumor size, stabilize disease, improve survival, and reduce cancer-related symptoms. DCA is an experimental treatment. DCA should not be considered an alternative to chemotherapy. But see, the thing is, scientists were saying that it was reducing the sizes. So is that not what you're trying to use chemo and radiation for, but you also do invasive going and do surgery? So if this has been showing in mice, why is it not really in the limelight? When was this last updated? June 2022. See, that's where many things don't make sense. Okay? Because the ones who are making a profit off of cancer patients, off of pharmaceuticals, and what have you, like, why would they say something that costs pennies that was showing tumors, brain, lung, and the breast? I think that's what it said. To shrink. people go through shit tons of chemo and radiation, and then they're taking drugs on top of that, most of the time it's not even covered. Of course they're going to say not that it's not a substitute for chemo. No, it's a cure for cancer. Chemotherapy and radiation causes more harm to your body. It burns it. I've watched people, like, I've watched my grandfather, like, one second. My grandfather, he was a big man. I'm talking a big man. Right? Big man. And I hadn't seen him for quite a while. And I hadn't seen him until the day that my grandmother passed away. And she passed away 26th. Hey, 19 days. No, it could have been 19. 7, 7. Roughly 13 days. Because she died on the 26th of one month, and he died the 7th of the following month. So I hadn't seen him in quite a while. And last time I had seen him, like, I mean, he was freaking huge. The day my grandmother died was the day that I went into the hospital. My dad told me what room they was in. And I went in the room. And I looked. I didn't see him. So I went to the nurse's station and I said, hey, like, I'm looking for this person. Where are they? And she said, do you remember? And I said, well, I said, I was just there and I didn't see my grandpa. She took me back. She said, it's him. I said, what? Because the cancer ate him. To me, he was so damn skinny that he wasn't my grandfather. He was not the man that I knew. So, and then he told me that my grandmother was in that night, like before I got there. He woke up in the middle of the night because my grandmother was there. And I said, oh yeah, what did Danny have to say? He said that she just said everything was okay now. It's gonna be okay. So I laid down and laid on the bed and I sat in the chair. So when I see stuff like this and they're bumming for money and saying about finding the cure for cancer, you fuckers who's already got it and you're pocketing the money that everybody gives you. Because the Cancer Society knows the cure is there. So how many people have been diagnosed with cancer since the 80s, early 90s? How many people have lost family members because of cancer? And they're still out there saying, would you like to donate money to the Cancer Society? Why? So you can fucking pocket it and keep saying that you're looking for a cure for cancer. The cure for cancer has been out there even before the 80s. Collecting for the Cancer Society, another non-profitable organization. They say they're non-profitable, but they're all fucking profitable. They just say that because they don't pay taxes. That's the part of your political stuff. Well, you know, I hate to see come a day when you yourself has cancer or someone you love has cancer and you're watching them fucking wither away to nothing and watching the torture and torment and everything that they go through with radiation and chemotherapy. And then you're sitting there waiting for the day that your family members pass away. My ex-husband watched his father die. Black and blue. Black and blue. My ex-son-in-law, my ex-stepson, is still like, he's still part of my life. So he's still that part. To me, he's still family. But just this past year, he lost his grandfather to cancer. And just think of the amount of people that could actually be saved by that cure. And they downplay it because you don't make money off of something that costs nothing to make, right? You want to be they want to be able to do that. Well, first off, we're going to send you, as that doctor said to me when I was in the hospital, because I was unwell and I was dying, but listen to me. We'll do this, okay? I'll say what he said. We're going to send you for the most expensive, or he said we've sent you for the most expensive test that we have here. So let's send you to get the most expensive test that we have. Okay. So we'll send that referral and we'll wait till that comes back. Okay. So you go in and get your test and come back. Miss Johnson, I don't know how or whatever way to put this to you, but we found a tumor in your lung. and we're going to send you to a specialist. So, and we'll get things on the road. Somebody will be in contact with you in about, well, give it about maybe 2 months, sometimes even more. So you're sitting at home. Some tell their families, some don't. If you're sitting at home by yourself and you're the only one that knows, you're sitting there and you're at a loss, you're in denial. And you're just waiting for that day to come and you get that letter or you get that phone call saying, hey, you have a come on in to see Dr. Edwin. Okay? Go into Dr. Edwin. And it's like, okay. Miss Johnson, the tumors that we've seen are about 3.5 by 4 centimeters inside. And we want to get you into radiation and chemo as soon as possible. But right now, there are many other people, and there may be a little bit of a wait. But in the meantime, please take this for pain. And, even maybe this to help you get through the psychological part. And we suggest that, you let your family members know. You go home and sit there and contemplate, because like I said, there are people that don't want to tell their family members because, when you tell your family members, some react, some don't. And then you're sitting there waiting for the days that you go for chemo and you go in. But first, they try surgery. Okay, sorry. Miss Johnson, we're going to schedule you. We're going to schedule you in for surgery as soon as we get a spot. Okay. And we'll be in contact with you with the date and what it is that you need to do to prepare for surgery. So you go in, get the confirmation, you go in for the surgery. You come out from surgery and get another call from Ms. Johnson. We need you to come in. The surgery was not fully successful. There's still tumors in there and they're spreading. We're going to send you in for radiation and chemotherapy. You go in for chemotherapy, surgery, you in your hair, you have no. Sometimes it's even worse than that. Has anybody ever felt themselves dying? Because in 2019, I felt myself dying. It's that part you're going to the doctor, telling the doctor something not right here, something not right, and they keep dismissing, you keep dismissing, you keep dismissing. So whatever the problem is, it keeps getting worse because they don't believe it. Because they know best all the time, but your body. You know that there's something wrong with your body, but you don't really know where it's at. So you're home waiting after you have chemo, doing every so often for chemo for so long. Then you go back in and I'm sorry, but the radiation and chemo is not working. And a lot of time people end up at like stage 4 cancer. I lost my step great grandfather or my step grandfather. I believe it was 2006. Yeah, because it was Halloween. He had just got into the hospital week prior to that, and that's when he got diagnosed with cancer. And he had like 5 tumors, I think they said, on his liver. 3 to 5 tumors. And I don't know how many fucking times he had been to the doctor. And they ignored him. I was in town for, when I was at the, oh, it was right in front of me. Now I'm having a blonde day. It's like Truth and Reconciliation was there. And this woman approached, she was giving out flyers. It was Destiny, it was a 22-year-old young Indigenous woman. Okay. It was denied life-saving medical treatment and justice for Destiny. It was how she was treated. It was the Nova Scotia medical system. Okay, I have a Facebook group. Speak out about your experience with the Nova Scotia healthcare system, I believe it is. Oh, no. Because I had my medical records and I read through them and the stuff that they did, that they dismissed and supposed to be sent for certain tests and everything like that, and nothing. Oh, I got treated like a piece of shit at the hospitals. So yeah, I don't care if you excuse me or not, but I don't know this story. It's not the way they are right now. Speak out about your experience with the Nova Scotia healthcare system. And I had people wanting to join, but I thought I had it set up. So that everyone could join. I'm talking about this stuff because it's part of the system. It's down the political rabbit hole. It's down the system rabbit hole. It's down the limited belief system rabbit hole. It's down it all. So you go for and you're told that you like when my step grandfather was diagnosed with cancer. 5 days later, see, I was in there that day. And people think that something like that he died on his own. Nope, not at all. And me and my oldest son were sitting right there when it happened. Because we both looked at each other and like, did we really just see what we saw? So he was talking to everybody and everything like that, and he had a beer, and because the nurse said, give him a beer. So he was talking and everything. He was fine, laughing, tired. So prior to that, he may have been getting up and going around and everything. So everybody was gone. It was just my oldest son and I in the room. We were sitting in the room. And his bed is right here. I'm sitting on this side, right next to him here. His head's up here. I'm right next to here. And my son was just on the other side. And the doctor and the nurse come in. He said, excuse me. Like I'm saying. They took 2 syringes full of shit. Now, I want people to realize that when somebody receives assisted suicide, they get the shot that it's like it tries to paralyze them. And then they give them the euthanasia. It was not requested. They took it upon themselves. Because right after they gave him that stuff, wow, it was utter horror and terror. Because see, the other ones, they weren't in the room. So they had no fucking idea what really went down. I was sitting there, and the man was gasping for air. He was grabbing a hold of me like, like that, just grabbing a hold of me for help. Because he's grabbing. And even though I didn't get along with my fuck, that experience that I had with him and the experience that I had with my other grandfather, when my grandmother had cancer, I didn't really go around. I didn't. I seen her, but it was like everybody was just almost keeping me away from her. And one person there, oh, she was really fucking irritating me. She kept saying about my mom, listen, you bitch, go fuck yourself. My mother's mother was dying, and my mother was unwell herself, you cunt! Did I say that word? Yeah, go look it up. go look it up. I don't usually say that. But it was there, the way that they were talking to my mom, and I should have hauled off, and I should have drove every fucking one of you. My mom died 7 days less than a year after my grandmother died because she smoked herself to death. After treat it like a piece of shit. You know, when they put her in palliative care, they took her oxygen, they took everything from her, and they started doping her up with medicate like shit balls of fucking medication. Oh, we're making her comfortable. No, you're killing her, assholes, and you did it. My mother could have went more than 2 years. But we watched her suffocate. And I did so much research, and at the Toronto University, they were doing experiments on young children to produce COPD. And my dad regretted convincing her to go on palliative care. In the hospital, Elizabeth. Her stomach was distended. And she died. And my eldest sister and I, we were we both panicked. And we took later our hands on her. It was like our hands became one of those shock machines. And when her eyes opened, and everybody were like, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" It's like, holy shit, man, didn't you just see what fucking happened, you assholes? I couldn't even fucking stand up. And my mom was like, here, honey, it's okay. I'm okay. He's okay. She said, come on, come here. And I just walked right on her. Yes, it's weird. It's weird. So I watched people go into shock, and I experienced it for myself. In 2019, because doctors wouldn't listen to me, they did 10 cardiograms, 2 different machines, in a matter of minutes. First machine they used 5 times it tried to get a reading. And this was after I was sitting in the waiting area. And I had what felt like it was like a bubble. And I could feel it moving, like moving like this. Up, 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 up. It was like it went my brain and popped. And I just like it was like I was like trying to breathe. It was like an aneurysm popped, or a piece of a bone fragment from when I went down at Costco. It took that much time for it to travel through, and I went down at Costco June 25th, 2019, and that appointment that day would have been around September 28th, 2019. And I would go to the bar and I'd have like people like, please pull my arm because it was like when I pulled it, it felt good. Like, please pull harder. So they kept telling me, oh, you have anxiety. Like, just breathe. And I just looked at them like, I am fucking breathing. Or I didn't say fucking, I am breathing. Oh, you're just having a panic. I'm not. And they just left me there. And then that's when I went in. And they did the cardiogram. They brought one machine in. They hooked me up to it. The reading. So they started moving the things and what have you. Did it again. Did a reading. Okay. Thought, you know, how often do you get somebody who doesn't get a reading, especially 2 readings in a row, and they had just said that they felt like something just traveled up and went into the brain and pumped. It's like, are you fucking stupid? This is the spirit. I'm not calling you people stupid. I'm calling the ones that, you know, put people through this. So she tried it. She moved them again. So maybe things are She did it again. So 3rd time, no reading. 4th time, no reading. 5th time, no reading. Well, that's where it must be the machine. Something wrong with the machine. So they went and got another. Hooked it up. 1st time, no reading. 2nd time, no reading. 3rd time, no reading. 4th time, no reading. 5th time, no reading. Oh, well, like whatever. So they just blew it off. 10 fucking times they tried to get a reading. 2 different machines. And they just dismissed that. I would say that's medical malpractice. Because I got to the point where I wouldn't go no more. I was actually one day and the ambulance came. But this is how it went down. Max doesn't come and he was getting irritated. I just fucking couldn't stand him. I wanted to slap him. And I was throwing up. Like it was like coming from here and it was violent. Like, I mean, it was violent. It was like it was ripping my insides out, but nothing was coming up except for blood. Acid. I could actually blow bubbles. Like I'm talking like a bubble, like you would have a fucking piece of bubble gum in your mouth, and the best kind of bubble gum to blow bubbles with. Only this stuff that I was blowing was crystal clear. And I mean actually crystal and clear. It was clear fluid with crystals in it. The ambulance comes. And instead of putting me in a gurney, they had me walk on myself, and they were practically, they were dragging me because other people said, like, no, you weren't walking. They were literally dragging me, and they made me get up in the ambulance. They never checked for anything. That was abusive, and that was actually against protocol. And then when I got in the hospital, nothing, and they said that maybe I had some kind of, I forget what they called it. Something that you get, like with fecal. But they never really did it. There's never any follow up. I don't know how many times the ambulance came. Like I know going to the hospital in emerge, going to a family doctor, going to walk-in clinics, and going to province. It was about 15 times. And I was dismissed. That doesn't include the times that the ambulance would call and I didn't go. When I went down, oh, that was in 2017 when they grinded me here. They're supposed to grind you here, but they grinded me over here. And they were right on this spot. And it was like they were trying to dig into it to the point of abusive and assault. And said, we have somebody here playing cat and mouse with us. So when they did that heart thing, that was the same thing. Like, how the fuck could I affect a machine? Obviously, there was something going on, but you didn't look, right? So I went home, and as time went by, I had one care people coming in. And they were like really concerned for me, like, you still got no, just the way they treat me. They treat me like shit every time I go. Sometimes you just stay home and behind. And that I did. But people will say, well, no, you didn't because you went in the hospital or nothing. Fuck off. Seriously. Fuck off. My nephew watched it. He wanted to, he wished he could have the money so that he could send me to Alberta to get medical treatment because at least they would let me down. So I was like, still keep trying to, like, working hard to keep my house going and everything, and just playing like, oh, nothing's wrong. So I'd still go out so that I could have that person just take my arm and pull it, and I didn't feel alone. And things got worse and worse, and everything was trying to catch myself. Like everything was trying to leave. And one night I was in my bed, and it felt like I was falling off the bed many times, and everything like that. It felt like I was just sinking into the bed. I'd be laying down and it feel like I was rolling and falling off the bed. I was having trouble breathing and gasping. I was feeling like something was like suffocating me from the inside out, like crushing me. And I just stopped going to the hospital. And I just started realizing, that my family won't listen to me. The doctors won't listen to me. I died. And the night before I died, I was laying in the bed. Well, at times, like when I was laying next to him, and he had a black shirt on, and all of a sudden it was like I could see fireworks going off on his shirt, and I could see like cartoon characters, just colorful cartoon characters dancing around, and all of a sudden SOS showed up. They called it SOS, and they called out SOS. I was saying I needed help. The night that I was eating there at his place, it was like I was looking at the skylight of the sea, and I could see. It was like I was looking through a portal, and I could see someone laying in a hospital bed, and my family around me. It's like I was looking in on myself. Who knows? Maybe I'm still there. The night before I died, laying in my bed, and it was like I was seeing a hospital door open, and then it was like it was held open. It kept coming in and out, and the spirit of my older sisters was in my bed, and the spirit of my mom. And then there was this little girl who kept coming in the room, and then everybody else like was just like, and all of a sudden I just said, "Get the fuck out!" And my nephew was like, "Who are you talking to?" The next day, I was sitting on my couch. I was sitting there and I was thinking, the life, the energy, it was just hard enough to get to that couch. Not ready, not ready. What we do. And I couldn't get back up. I could just, I could feel myself sleeping. I could no longer move. I could no longer sleep. I could just feel myself dying. And it was like so much anxiety, like so much feeling of anxiety and panic. The distance was so much. We got closer and we hit three lights, six lights, nine lights. And then it would just felt like I was in the sun. Right. But before that happening, right around, because I had no time perception. I don't know how long it was like that because as I was slipping, because when you go into a coma, when the people are in a coma, they can actually still hear you. And so and I could hear my nephew say to me, "This mother still sleeping." So how long I had been like that, I don't know. So I can imagine because I experienced what my step grandfather experienced that day that they gave me watch because my body was reacting just like this, asking for help the best way you have, but not having anyone. And that day I was supposed to swim to him, grab and hold on to, and he didn't know what to go. And I was not close enough. I even told my well, she was married to my uncle, my aunt, and at that, when I was younger, I told her that I didn't believe that he liked me. She went and ran away because I said that he had taken me. So I wonder what I got respect for you. And also, you know, me bringing this up is going to irritate you. That's fine, but this is how I felt that day. The day of my mom's funeral, like in the front row was for family. Mom had a husband, 5 kids. Me and my 3 sisters and my oldest son. And that day really bothered me because me and one of my sisters were put in the hole behind them where my aunt sat in the. That was for mom's husband and her children, and we all would have fit there. So this is like what the system does to people. And they say, oh, you're supposed to have pain and suffering. Here, if we are supposed to have pain and suffering, well, I think we've suffered enough pain and suffering. And it's time the system feels its own pain. See, that was the night that, it was trying to tear me apart, the night that I got flashed right in the fucking forehead with whatever it was. It was the night of the supermoon 2020, right there at Easter time. That was, yeah, spirit took control of that. Spirit hid me while they were trying to tear me apart. And then that was the night that I first, like, I didn't realize at the time, but that was the first time that I realized that I tapped into the enemy. Because all of a sudden I was like this, and then all of a sudden my hand started grabbing it, started grabbing energy, moving it, twisting it, getting a hold of the body, and then just grabbing hold and just torquing it internally. And what was coming up, like, was like, whoa, we're taking trying to make us feel fucking human being. Yeah, we want to make you feel human being. I guess right now, federal government is shut down. 2018, it was shut down too at that time for 35 days. Who was in government? Who was president at that time? Donald Trump. So twice, the government shut down while he's in presidency. See, instead of shutting the government down, you reform it. You weed out the dirty and expose it for what it is. You know, when it's obvious that they're committing crimes against humanity, and abusing power, stealing, corruption, because it's very evident that it's happening. So that's where, when that comes into play, do not have the right to do a citizen's arrest. I believe it is in the Constitution. I need a bigger bookcase. I need a bigger space. It's nice and cozy, but at least I need to have my books. Say. Okay. These are looking for. Citizens Rest. I don't know. Get deep down there right now. But you do. See, they'll gang up on you. Okay. International courts. See, this is why they want to have control of what you watch, especially in the news. And people know that. What are you getting at? See, the thing is, they like to barricade people in the buildings as a punishment. Yeah, fuck off. Yep, you're messing around. Suck. Spirit brought me to a part in the Constitution. Because I have it in there, but Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution, there are significant protections. Right, habeas corpus, which requires a court order to justify someone's imprisonment. This is unless in cases of rebellion or invasion of public safety reason. Provisions ensure I better put this down. Because if I'm reading that right, let's see. Okay, just one sec. Individual rights and constitutional protection of rights, federations of individuals' rights in the Constitution. This was May 27th last year. Now, let me see. If I'm which requires a court order. So the writ of corpus corpus, which requires a court order to justify someone's imprisonment, cannot be suspended unless in cases of rebellion or invasion where public safety is at risk. This provision ensures that the government cannot lawlessly detain individuals without jurisdictional oversight. It's like you're in a test. Policía que aguanta. Yo solo muy bien. Okay, so let's talk through this for a second. So Donald Trump is a convicted felon, and he is protected. What is it? So as long as he's in presidency, he can't be taken to task for anything he does. However, I'm seeing this as this, which require for the people's protections, which requires a court order to justify someone's imprisonment. So if you with Donald Trump, okay, it's bringing about a rebellion and an invasion where public safety is at risk. So is it saying that under Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution, you can request a court order to justify the imprisonment of Donald Trump and convict him for his crimes? Oh, crap! What that must be? Can't be right. It must be right. Michigan, Michigan. Hey, big brother. Ugh! Or did you like having someone call you daddy? Fucking dog. Oh, wow. The spirit does not like him. Oh, the dog represents St. Christopher. You ves? It's father and son! Holy shit, you fuckers! Grimacinoi! And if people don't think I know how fucking ridiculous I look, think again and go get your head checked. You're demonic, you got demons, no, I'm fucking dealing with yours! Non si chieda por ese dottore, è sicura! Holy crap! Oh, son, fuckers! That's who's at the George's Island? That's why it was. You think the son is bad, the father's worse. Wait, that music, yeah, you too. Holy shit, you fuck off! It reminds me, no offense to my dad and my oldest son, but this reminds me of the day that after my mom and things were like at a head. Like my sisters, well, I just went to I wasn't part of it, and they thought it was boys and my sisters, like, they got into it, and those words said, and then it brought me in on it, and I was like, holy shit. Like, and then one day, like, I don't know if it was the next day, I was at my dad's place, and my dad and my youngest son, they started getting into it, and they were about to go physically, and jumped in the middle, and that's why.
took me back to Kane and the father. Felt abandoned every time. So part of it always felt like they can never catch up. No matter how much they succeeded. Back to forward son. Right. Sweet little music, just like you were just like he sees himself in the mirror between the people. So Christopher is angry with Christian. You know, it's hard when this stuff actually you watch it and you see it, but you see it in the perspective. It's showing you. Just it's like it's your story. You watch it. You can look at your movies or your shows and you can relate to it all, right? Because it's like they're showing you your own life. So from what I understand from that, you know, hey, your presidents may think that they can stay in one way. So I would think that if you have to get a court order, you'd have to take it to the international court. Supreme Court will do it, but they may stall it. You know, you said about impeachment. Well, you can't impeach him for the same thing, right? But you can get a court order because you have enough flaws. You know, don't take my word for it. So that was one that scared me too. All right. Oh, I do. Okay. See, that would really much be the same for Canada. This page not done. So now we're going to go because I showed you the thing about cancer. Because I was saying about J.D. Vance, I don't believe that
His mother is his mother, his brother is his father. Okay. So now, Spirit just, because we're on the systems and the plugins and what have you. I said, this is the Alice down the rabbit hole, and this is what we were doing. We're going to do different things. Now, as some of the people in Nova Scotia are aware, Nova Scotia Power breached data. Okay. And there were quite a few people affected by it. And it was like there was no recourse. So I know someone personally that was affected by it. And they had to go out. And they had to get some kind of security, which there's another cost. And then they had to get on the phone, which would be another cost. Because now they have to, it's protecting their data. Because every time it gets hit, they get a notification. And I was reading a thing on the news, it was with regards to the news, because people were saying about a class action lawsuit. So I looked up to see about a class action lawsuit taking place in Nova Scotia right now with regards to the data. Okay. Nova Scotia laws make class action unlikely in wake of Nova Scotia Power data breach, experts say. Are they nice for you? I don't care. Shit. I don't want you to be record. A legal expert said the chances of launching a successful class action lawsuit against Nova Scotia Power over a recent data breach are low due to gaps in provincial legislation. Wayne McKay, professor at the Scottish School of Law at Dalhousie University, said the lack of specific legal tools in Nova Scotia makes it difficult to sue companies when hijackers are responsible for privacy violations. Well, I'm going to stay with that for a minute because Nova Scotia makes it difficult to sue companies when hijackers are responsible for privacy violations. How are the hijackers responsible? Well, okay, they're responsible for privacy violations, but isn't it up to the company to protect your data?
That's like somebody breaks into your home and they injure themselves, they can sue your insurance. I guess a crook must have come up with that, right? So you're paying for a criminal's expense who just tried to harm you or like stolen your house, but because they got hurt. The reason why they do these, like these contracts and stuff like that, you usually get one with that long policy and everything like that. And I look at that and it's like, seriously, you're maybe I guess you might want to get some better people protecting data, not being at the expense of the consumer because they already pay enough for it as it is. Don't they pay a health tax? They pay, people say, well, what's that have to do? You know, you're paying into the system either way. But they're private companies. That's what they're saying because it's a company. So that would be the same as saying with regards to your government because your government is a corrupt company. Okay, so the government owned Nova Scotia Power. Okay, it was owned by the government, by the people. And in 1992 was when they switched it over to privatized. There was no money in it for them. So they had to bring about, all come together, and bring about a company to privatize it so that they could make a profit. Thomas Edison, you fucking jackass. Kasi dumusakta si Karatugure, dumusakta sa Latakore, Kurimonoya, Sokoya. It's like, holy crap, man, here we go again. It's like you feel like, give me some space, man. But like I said, I think Nikola Tesla was in love with Thomas Edison's daughter. And that's why he think of one. How could this uneducated man? I mean, Tesla's father did not really approve of Tesla's choices. He was a priest. Hey, I have two of his books, and I started reading one of them, and I got to hear. I only read what I have, what smart brings me to. Brings me to. And him and his father, yeah, they did not see eye to eye.
He was like his mom.
So what was owned by the people, free to the people, because Nikola Tesla brought free energy. So we're on Tesla and Edison. We just say Ed. So Nikola Tesla had free energy, but Thomas Edison seen no profit. Now, that's what we're seeing in our government. Okay, because when Nikola Tesla died at he was around 43, somewhere around there, they took the government, and Donald Trump's uncle came in and took all of his stuff. Edison burnt the power of the Edison could never do his own dirty work. Much like your brother. Going to do pretty soon. Yeah, I like, oh my goodness. Dosta ja nušala kasi muka tariesa tataretu kuriguri ai no priaso, no é? It was like his father and him, like it was like in the beginning, it was always it was the father and the son. It was like, okay, now if you look at Loki and Odin, he wasn't real fond of Loki because Loki wasn't his son, but Thor was, much like you say about Michael. So was Michael able, Caleb? Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, let's go to the thing again, boy. What are you doing? We're at. So is part of this fight a father and a daughter and a brother and a sister? Or a mother and a son? Because it's all part of each other. So when one feels it, they all feel it. So Odin didn't like Loki. Loki actually had magic, whereas Thor, he had to have someone put magic. He had to have magical weapons. He couldn't just produce magic. It's the only way anyways. Odin didn't like Loki. If you watch the series Loki, okay, because we talk about the Watchers a lot. So we'll come on here and we'll talk about the Watchers. Okay, do you notice in the movie In Time, they had the Watchers, and in the series Loki, they had the Watchers. They had the head guy in Time, the one who was stealing everyone's time and hoarding it for himself to live longer. And then when you look at Loki, the series Loki, well, they have the man, the one that says he's all and sitting in his chair and lonely as fuck and just sitting there. It's like sentenced to life imprisonment, so you play your fun little games. And in there, the girl wanted the twin of Loki wanted to take him out. And see, every time they tried to take him out, it was like they said that timelines moved. So the watchers were watching this, and it had those three figures. And then every time she tried to do that, that would happen. So Loki had to keep going back and rewinding and rewinding. And it's that part that when you look at that metaphor, it's instead of going round and round, because Tegan ain't going to do anything. He's a miserable bastard, anyways. So help him find love. And the way show them themselves until they realize that's not who they want to be. And I'm talking about like what you put in government. Narcissistic control freaks, psychologically passive about everything. That's the over OCD, where everything just has to be a certain way. I'm OCD, but I'm okay with a bit of stuff around sometimes. But none of them really know how to work with money. Well, steal it, but they don't know how to disperse it appropriate places. Well, most of the stuff that they say they're doing research on, they already have done the research. And it's already done. They're just hoarding it. Resources for people into the people. That's why I said, like I look at these churches and they're just loaded with gold and people are starving. Those are no, not your markers. Those are your false markers, false prophets. Why does the church need gold? Because gold gives them power. You know, did you ever watch Superman? And kryptonite was their weakness. You know, some what silver in. Or if you had wolf's bane. I'm probably a little confused there. So why should I think the would say, boom, I guess you better watch your programs. You might learn something from certain programs. And people say, well, garlic. I just heard sometimes garlic just makes things taste sweeter. So, you know, you take that. And yeah, I know that took a, like, I'm saying, you know, hey, say about narcissists and everything like that. And you put in those types of vampires. It's like people just all around with the White House or Capitol, and just all standing around holding hands. And just like, it's like, people think, well, that's no, because energy comes from the hand sensors. If you watch the movie In Time, okay, their energy is through the things, right? So they take it from the wrist, right? So you have an arm wrestler, right? Most of the time, they're putting it in the arm, but a lot of it is going in the wrist. Energy passing through the hands. It's a battle of energy. In the show, they go like this and then flip it. And that's how they would steal one another's energy. If you've seen my video where I have a copper bracelet and I take my tablet and I start putting my hands over my tablet with my compass on, and I actually make the compass dance and spin. And I just keep moving it. Sometimes I would do it when I was listening to music. But it's where the energy was somewhat there. Your strength. It's see if you take and you concentrate in one place, you create whatever it is that you're concentrating on. So if you're concentrating on there's going to be a civil war, then you're going to end up creating it yourself because you're not going to take the time to see how you can truly prevent it. And some would say, some want to fight. And I can feel that. You want to rip my tongue out. And whoop, the chemotherapy. We'll see. And you know something? I'm hearing this, and it brings me to fear because she said she doesn't even have a kitchen table. That's the thing, most people, they don't sit for dinner together anymore. Kids are always in the room, sitting on the couch in front of TVs. And most people say, well, that's how we control each other. But are you actually sitting together? Or are you sitting there eating and watching a program opposed to communicating like you used to when you were sitting at the kitchen table and you knew everybody? That's the part of where you're going to come to that connection. But go look up Bernard Bergman. Look at the picture of him and look at the picture of J.D. Vance. And you will see. Like people say about Jesus, like, was his name Jesse? I'm just asking. Do I think a lot? No, I'm not. I don't only think. I observe. And internally, that's where I do my sorting out. I have never really in my head. I see, observe, but then it all gets sorted out inside. I did a lot of sitting with myself, all parts of myself, including resident life. It was, I knew I wasn't going insane, but it didn't stop me from wondering, like, holy shit, am I going to do this? Like, shit, man. Right now, to try and explain it, I explain it through what you witness, experience, because it's within. So as you And when you see that aggression, and just like, holy shit, man, like each side of my body is freaking spastic, and like they're just freaking brawling with each other. It's like, it's like, holy shit, back off. That's what was meant by children against parents, parents against children, and brothers and sisters against brothers and sisters. It's like you feel that inside because you're going through all of the pain of what you experienced through your life and what was taught to you from things passed down from generation to generation. And like with regards to your government, if you look at their lives, and I know because what they're doing is not right at all. But when you look at their past, that was a vicious circle too, because it was part of their generation on the manipulation. But your government, it's not about, like I said, not about shutting it down as it is seeing the bigger picture and picking from each place of what works for everyone. Because if you look at it, most of the stuff is saying the same thing, but it's keeping you concentrated on the differences. So being able to see from each perspective, that's where you're going to find a solution. It's not going to be saying, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It goes from the sublime to the ridiculous. But like I said, like even in your own life, not just in government, because you are the government over your own sovereign self. But you have to become sovereign to understand that you are your governance. It's like, aren't you the one that's supposed to say what happens to you? You don't have no say over what happens to somebody else but yourself. Yes. Certain circumstances, when looked at, you have an opinion. But sometimes that doesn't even get seen. And then you come to the position we're in right now. People feel like they're not being heard, and it doesn't matter what direction you're looking at. And that's what the system does, is that's the virus. The virus will find the antivirus. You know, I don't know if anybody's ever realized, like, if you have your phones, okay, and you in an app or you remove an app, I'm gonna ask you, do your body, does your body feel like it just release something or let go of something, or when you have an app, it feels like almost like you know something? See, because didn't they say that they were gonna do it so that people could connect to their phones? But it's you a lot of people perceive it to be a form of a chip. But is it that it's more of the awareness and it has the true phones? These are like the more keeping in on you because you're an open source to them because they're observing you. That's how they know. But when you have that phone, it's you, your own mind connecting to it, then there's no interference. It's it's like a telepathy through energy waves. And the frequencies that those energy waves, well, sometimes I feel like it's a vibration because I start feeling the vibration in my body. God dang. Like right now, it's like it's like they're in a friggin' energetic war and they're sending energy at each other. And it's through the hands. It's like, whoosh, man, these two got big heads. They must be from different spaceships because they kicked each other off. They like seeing themselves anymore. I know that some of it is a father and a daughter. So it's at one part it's a father, daughter, and a son, but not a biological son. Well, this one is. That was weird. Yeah, it's like it's like the internal spirits are like it's like that's where I do my work. I hear like I go spirit to spirit, and that's where my channel spirit to spirit. So if I have a like if there's an internal rivalry, it's like bringing it in here to sort through it. And that's where the energetic turbulence, what you observe, happens. For one, if I were, I wouldn't call it government. Right now, I don't know that it would be government because you govern. Mm-hmm. That word has been abused. Because they turned everything into a government and then privatized it so that they could make more money. You know, right now I feel like it's just like Lucia. I just heard a raid in the White House, but figuring out what it means. Raid in the White House. Oh! Con ese te puedes hacer de mi cara. Ahora solo guardamos. Are you going to share with us? Okay. In order to figure things out, okay, when you say that Jesus spoke in parables, okay, in order to figure things out, speaking in parables, speaking in riddles, okay, it's speaking in code of the interpretation. Okay? So when it was a raid in the White House, okay. Now, I have I didn't do it.
back years ago, I was going to take some courses like at home. And I had gone through family law with my youngest son and other things. And, I wanted to learn a bit more about like law investigations, law enforcement, because I was doing a lot of journaling and stuff. So I applied for this at Stratford Career Institute. I didn't finish it. I don't even think I got it started because I wasn't in a good place. But I got the book, like I still have the books. So I did the law enforcement. And what is my point? Oh, with regards to when then you said, like when they said, when I heard there was a raid in the White House. Okay, what does raid signify? What do you use raid for? And, just certain things like that. Business management, but, you know, I do want to have my own, I do want to have my own business one day. But as far as being able to manage it, holy shit, man. My management is just being me. So, I wouldn't be able to, I'd have to have somebody else schedule things for me because, well, I might even remember it myself because I don't like a lot of it. And this here one, success in society, studies in human relations. Here's the thing, I should start them just to see, but I have no one to correct them. Because I think there's more, actually, more of this, like more books that I would have been getting. But I started reading psychology. And I see psychology differently. I see psychology as being more of the spirit, whereas medical is more of the physical, but like the internal is the spirit. And that's why I conflict with sociology, or not sociology, psychology. But I do know that, hey, if people actually started seeing it from that perspective more often, then you would help the patients with it. So that's where you need to ask yourself, are you really out to help your patients, or are you out to help yourself? Because in order to heal, you have to seek this. I literally did well because I failed the Excel and then which was, hey, that was so necessary. You know, the part about like you go through life and every hurdle you get over.
do you see that you are always one step closer? And you know if you feel safe, you want to, but I am abundant and that matters most. See, people don't share their story because certain systems in place to help people actually walk through the ridicule. You know, I look out at the backyard and like the pond is there. And what I'm seeing is like the alders taken out of it. Some of them left, but kind of, have some character. Will have like pond stuff around it. And like some trees will grow up around it instead of having it all surrounded by alders. That's what's sucking the water out of it. And then I see up along the house, like just like pretty little like gardens. Like you could just have like a few vegetable gardens, just raised gardens up by the house because the sun always comes there. And then I see different seating areas. I see different little buildings in the woods. But there's a piece of property that I would buy, like even like if I was like had the ability to leave this place for the community, it's not just a community. I'd buy that piece of land over like get that piece of land next door. And I'd have it so that there could be like a communal vegetable garden, but it'd be like a teaching place where you could teach gardening, little buildings, because there's actually at the other end of the road, there's a pole there to come into the property. So you could actually put electricity through there and have those little buildings back there have electricity. And little like places there could be set up to teach people how to do the crafts again. And like if they did pickling and stuff like that, or you'd be able to use the garden. That would be like I'd have to have a really nice because I want it to be tall here. but it'd be something that I see like for the community. Nobody living here. This be like a place of for educational purposes. Being able to like enjoy the place. Educational purposes in a fun way. Because, hey, they sometimes, but it would be the communities. The community would have a not the province, not like any part of like not any part of the government, the community itself. But I see the pond, like my ex-husband has seen it for fishing, but I wouldn't want it for fishing. I'd want it for like leisure, just to sit in at a beautiful calm space. And there's a place that I would love to be able to contact and see about them, like not necessarily in this place, but even in this place and a few other places. This type of school. Because you know, you have to integrate it in, and then your governments aren't doing that. Oh wow, it was like I just felt someone and heard someone. It was like they were shaking someone and say, "Come on, you gotta get out." And then I felt that. It was like the person got up. That day that man called me out of the blue, I don't even know who he was or how he got my number. But he asked me if I could heal his wife. So right now in the tree, Spirit is showing me the way the tree is shaped at the moment. It's like, it's almost like the face of a dragon because it has like the horns up here, and it be the orange dragon. So let's see. I got these yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah. Dragon Path. I know that I'm connected with dragons. What did I say? Orange. I said orange dragon. Emergence. Oh, the orange dragon. That's like the phoenix too. Emergence. Okay, here. Last night I shuffled. Well, I looked through my deck. Okay, and hey, I look at all cards. But because by looking at all cards, you're looking at the shadows, and that's what spirit's trying to make you look at. And their spirit. So you say about the Trinity, okay? Religion, certain religious places, what have you, you won't agree with it. Well, whatever. Okay, that's fine. Okay, because you think of yourself, the Trinity is three. So that's three versions of yourself. Okay, you have your feminine, you have your masculine, and then you have the child, which is the two-spirited. Okay, people don't like that word, too freaking bad. That's what it is. So you have Gaia, and Father Time. Father Time is a peckerhead. Gaia cowered down from the father and expected the son to do the dirty deed. There's where you have what just happened there. There's what you have with regards to the problem between the father, the son, and the mother. Okay. So, child, okay, because it's the her and him, male, masculine, feminine. Okay. So this would represent Uranus. This would represent, well, Gaia, father, mother. Kronos, Rhea, because Cronus and Rhea were the two children that gave birth to Zeus. Okay, just give me 1 second. Why did you bring me here? Okay, so when you look at certain pictures, okay, and they have the woman fighting the dragon. Okay, so finally that means that the mother is taking on the father, right? And in the back it has like the depiction of Jesus watching up with the people all watching. So it's like if you take that Truman Show, okay, so he was like the father, and at the end of the movie, he figured it out, and he told the father basically, "Go fuck yourself." Okay, not your entertainment anymore. Okay. So the relationship was great when it was the two of them. Okay. Then they brought the child in. Okay. So they're bringing the child in. He didn't want to come out. He didn't want to have any children. Much like we'll use Donald Trump and Melania. Donald Trump didn't want Melania having any children. Okay. So she became pregnant. Father got angry. And he got angry. Well, because all attention wouldn't be on him anymore. He wouldn't be the center. And, someone who likes attention hates not being the center of it. Okay. So you have these two feuding, and Gaia is trying to release her baby. So, is that where the 9 months come from? Like her 9 months, the number of God, 9 months to birth. In the process, he was trying to put them in. Okay. So the bloodshed was a child coming through the vagina. Cutting through, pushing through the blood of the lamb, the blood of the lamb, the blood of the mother, because the blood comes out of her. First blood, firstborn. Abel was the firstborn. Set. Okay. So now you have more of a feud because the blood cut off, or the child coming out, penis, or sorry, the testicles. Okay. So it said with the slit, it cut off the testicles. Okay. And then it was another bloodshed. So did that represent that one child was born because they had a vasectomy? Oh my Jesus Christ. Holy fucking shit, man. Because you're different, little bastard. So that's where you get the father like son. So, like, the father was trying to cut off the son, so the son became just like the father, and that's where the blood was shed. And the son also angry with mother. And I guess it was because he was submissive and didn't believe the child. And the crow just showed up. Hello, Tony Samaka, na? Yakatsudesu. Urishida, Toy More, going Makatai Mukutuku, Ashaya. See you to this year. Sikukare. You saw it to the Yeshua Magayasway. Stand off, Purike Mukuta, mine. Milo was halfway, like he's up at the door and he's looking out the crows up on the pole. He's waiting for the crow to go. So the birth was the first. So the sacrifice, what the father took or received God took was the sacrifice of a child. What you say it was a farm animal? I believe it happened to be King's child. So that too would be a fight between father and son. And again, the mother not taking his side because the father was a piece literally, except he was the asshole of the universe. Call him Uranus. Your Highness. See, I guess, if you look at a black hole, I guess Uranus would be it. Takes a little bit of fruit and then blows it out his ass. What he farted. Really, I'm shit myself right now. And I said that the other day too. Still don't make your own pizza, jackass. This is a spirit to spirit. I mean, people can look at me like I'm right out drunk. You just don't understand spirit. So if you don't understand spirit and you're not willing to try, then my channel is not It's not for people. It's not for ones under the age of 18 now. I'm here to just empower. I'm here to empower you. I'm here to enlighten you. I'm here to show you yourself. And this is not directed to any one specific person. It's a spirit to spirit. Like I said many times, I see your face, but I look at your soul and your spirit. Yeah. I know I look like I got a bitch face all the time. So people's not telling me something that they want to do. It was new to me. That's all you have to say. Not new, K-N-E-W. New, N-E-W. New, new, new. Well, I guess today's spirit showed me where I needed to be, but you really need to look into it. Like I said, I'm not going to go back into it. You know, want to see a replay? Check it out on YouTube. Spirit teachings within of itself. But you have the power. You just give it away because you think that you need guidance. But it's about having the right people in there, ones that aren't about money. It's like they shouldn't be able to be in there if they own a business or any type of business that's connected to the government. Because they take their business in there and then they stack the deck in their favor, but they put it in a different name. I just heard Ricky Sampson. Who's Ricky Sampson? Those books are online. I know. So I got Ricky Sampson. Go ahead. Holy shit. You said, okay. Foxy have posted a statement in regards to recent sexual assault allegations against one of their members. The statement comes as a clarification of events that transpired with guitarist Ricky Sampson in 2012 before Foxy were an active band. Okay, so yeah, I got someone laughing. It's fine. So the actual name must have went by Ricky. Richard Sampson. Richard Sampson died September 25th, 1554. Was an English clergyman and composer of sacred music. He was an Anglican bishop of Chichester, Chichester, and was substantially of Coventry and Lichfield. What a great reader. Oh, Jesus. Were we just talking about the Trinity? He was educated at Trinity Hall, Cambridge, in Paris, Sorbonne, and Sens, also in France, and France. Having become Doctor of Canon Law, he was appointed with Cardinal Wolsey as Diocesan Chandler and Vicar General in his diocese, can't pronounce it, the Bishopric of Tournai. where he lived until 1517. Meanwhile, he gained English permanent, becoming Dean of St. Stephen's, Westminster, and of the Chapel Royal, 1516, Deacon of Cornwall, 1517, and Grinbury and Newbold, 1519. From 1522 to 1525, he was English ambassador to Emperor Charles V. He was non-Dean of Windsor. He was now Dean of Windsor, 1523. Emperor of Stephanie, 1526, and held prebends at St. Paul's Cathedral, and was Lichfield as the Archdeacon of Suffolk, 1529. He became one of Henry V11 traders or tutors, chief against the royal divorce proceedings, okay, which assisted the advertisement of existential career. He was awarded the, okay, what's this, like, treasurership, something. He was a bishop, also a Catholic political, and from the Catholic point of view, systematical, not something like that, policy. So oh, if you look at churches and you see that they're named after certain individuals within the Bible that had to do with Jesus. So if you have St. Paul's, we have, okay, because there's different versions. So, okay, so one of the Pauls was United, one was Catholic. So when you see that, it's really like reading that book to find out. How they're seeing it. So yeah, that was really, I guess the point that they're making is for this name to come to me from someone who died in 1554. I know it. Yes, sorry. Yeah, I hear people laughing. Recito mucho nome en puras. See, like when you hear something within yourself, okay, don't know where it came from, why you question that or what have you, or why it called that name or something called it. Look it up. because that's spirit's way of like pointing something out to you or showing you something that is helpful in some way because, you know, by that name, like I just said, by that name coming to me and me looking it up and finding out that it was a bishop from 15, well, who died in 1554. Yeah, yes, time. It's like, oh, well, that was just a coincidence. Really? We were just talking about Jesus and Cain and them. We were just talking about the Bible. Except for they do say that some just won't get it. And, you know, there are like somebody's either trying to strangle me and cut me off right here, or you really need to use your voice. You know, the thing they want you to do most is mute yourself. Give them your vote and mute yourself. And then let them tell you, oh, well, we're doing what's best for you. Really? So lining your pocketbook, stacking the deck, and, you know, stealing from the people. That's what's best for you. Because I can also see down the other side, you know, those spirits will say, well, they stole from us. Because it was like when you had the giants, they were helping and you stole everything from them. It was like the gold treasures. See, it shows different things, okay? And it says that the giants were the ones that, you know, people, well, the giants actually helped to save the slaves because the giants were actually enslaved too. And they were working with the enslaved people. And the giants and the enslaved humans started to work together. And that's the giants weren't eating the good people, the ones that were enslaved. The giants were ripping them limb for limb. But it wasn't the people that they were helping. It was the ones that were enslaving them. And that's why they said, you know, it's like he's saying that the universe turned itself inside out. They're playing victim now. And I seen a guy, and he's right. Like you say about what others are doing to your culture, or your religion or what have you, or in the name of religion. Again, you mentioned genocide, but you keep doing it to one another. So if you keep doing it to one another, how are either of you any better than the other? And it's true. How was either one any better than the other? I know, like, it's revenge. Do you want justice or do you want revenge? Because there's a difference. Oh, shit. It's like, world, my reasonable, and yeah. I'm not going to say my channel is for educational purposes. I'm not picking sides. I'm seeing these sides and I'm saying what's right and what's wrong in both the sides. And I see a lot of them, like they have a lot of common, but other parts of the system keeps them focused on the few little things that you need. I just don't understand why people can't share the land. Because I've seen more fighting over land and people stealing land like they've been doing it for years. And I'm very, like, they stole the land. Finding that way around to bring to light. It's like the tortoise in the hare. Patience is a virtue. And everyone's given the chance to do the right thing. And if they choose not to do it, then that being said, I'm sending you love. Hey, it's not always about trying to understand it as it is about allowing yourself to experience what's being said instead of getting angry and turning your head and saying, I don't see that, I don't hear that. Or if you resonate with it and you can understand what it is, someone's going through, because you allow yourself to experience that and feel it. Because everyone that would be in the room, if they went through the same thing, would be experiencing it. So we wouldn't be able. And with that being said, I'm sending you all much love, light, many blessings, and support, and very good health to anyone and everyone who wants to be receiving. Much love, be good, good, great, most important, be yourself, be your authentic self, true and kind to yourself, true and kind to others. And just remember, you have more strength than you can comprehend at times. Just you don't give your credit for yourself credit. Oh crap. Sonia. Ah!